this one is for you, Terrifics. You guys are amazing. You're special. You make BeTerrific special. This is why we do this. This is your live continuing coverage of Toy Fair 2017, live from the Jacob K. Javits Center in New York City, at BeTerrific TV on all social media. Join the Slack chat. Join the conversation. Connect at BeTerrific.com. Send us your positive feedback there as well. We love it. I got Jay Bird who says, tell our next guest Jason Wynn is in the Slack chat. He'll understand. I understand as well. Our next guest has been an illustrator, an author, a movie maker, filmmaker, a toy maker, baseball memorabilia collector, and just an all-around great guy. He's also the father of some pretty good ball players, and he also owned the Edmonton Oilers. Mr. Todd McFarlane is joining us on set. Thank you so much.
Minority owner. Let's get that right.
Minority.
So, yeah, small minority.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, ownership is ownership.
Hey,
right.
At the end of the day.
You got to go to the owner's box, right?
So look, I'm Canadian, right?
Yeah.
And so, but my dad moved us down to California when I was younger. So
Yeah.
I'm a summer sports guy. I played Pac-10 baseball, right? So by the time he moves us back to Canada, this is when you're young, these choices in life are very clear. I'm 14 and they say, hey, Todd, you can either be the best baseball player in Calgary, because you're coming from California, we don't play, or you can join a hockey team and they've been doing it since they were 4 and you will be horrible and never get on the ice. Life is clear at that point. So I've had to figure out a back door into hockey. And the answer was, ownership. What are you talking about? This is easy, right?
Did you ever get on the ice with the players, ever?
Never. But here's what I did do. One time, because I was in Phoenix. I was the only owner. Everybody else was in Edmonton. It was Edmonton Oilers. You know, they were all up in Edmonton. I'm in Phoenix. They would come and play the Coyotes in Phoenix, and then they'd go golfing one day. So I got to golf with them one day, and we did what we call best ball, where you got 2 guys and you hit a ball, and whoever's got the best, you move. And somehow, I thought we did pretty good. Me and one of the defensemen, we got 92, and the next worst score was like 78. So we were 14 worse than the next one, and I thought we were doing good that day, right? So that was okay. And then we all sat down, and I was also, the group we were paired with was our goalie. Now, you know, goalies, there's positions in your sport where you just have to have this sort of crazy mentality.
Right.
So there's a guy named Tommy Sallow. Tommy was so crazy that halfway through his thing, he kicked his partner off. Because he goes, you were doing so bad, I'll just do best ball with myself. Tommy, he was a good golfer. So then we get to the very end, and they start handing out the money because everybody put in $25, right?
Right.
And then the winner got a lot, and then they gave $150 to the worst guys. And then they had a vote on who was the worst dresser. I guess all the players voted me. I actually thought I was looking sassy that day, but what do I know?
Well, you know why Michael asked that, right? Because Michael plays hockey. I don't know if you know this. He plays hockey. He's a hockey guy. He plays in his spare time, which is not a lot, not often, but he still plays, loves it. And if he was a minority owner of a team, he'd be like Michael Jordan. He'd be out there.
On the ice.
Come on.
No, I couldn't.
So I will tell you this. I was actually thinking about you the other day. Here's the thing. Somebody asked me, as a journalist, would I do a participatory story? What would it be? And I said, without a doubt, I know. I mean, I've done a lot in my career participatory-wise. I love telling those stories. Without a doubt, I want one shift at Madison Square Garden. Could be a preseason game.
Right.
One shift. And they said, what would you do with the shift? I go, I want 2 things out of the shift. I want a scoring opportunity, and I want to run somebody, or at least try to, which in the NHL would mean I'd be laying on my back. And then I said, and then I want to get to the bench, and I want the coach to look at me and go, next shift, you're going back out. You know?
Look at, see, this guy gets to take it for granted because he got out there, right?
Yeah.
But I played Pac-10 baseball, so I'm like him.
Right.
I would trade everything for one at bat in a stadium with 40,000 on the road because I want them booing with the guy on the tie game on second base going, can I silence the crowd?
Now here's the
Give
difference.
me that one at bat. That's all I want.
So that's how I then thought of you, because I immediately thought, we're coming to Toy Fair, I'm going to see you, and I thought, if I was a minority owner, I would be on that ice.
See, now here's the difference.
I wasn't.
And I was wondering.
I can't skate.
I say this to this day. They be like, oh, Darryl, are you going to play football again? Blah, 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 blah. I say, I could for one play. I got one play left. You know, and a lot of retired guys say this. I'm good for one play. I'm not playing a game. I'm not playing a series. I'm not playing a drive. But one play, I'll give it my all. Right. And I'll be pretty good on that play. I might get killed. But one play, I can play. But I'm not doing a whole shift. I mean, come on, that's too much. I'm going to have my one breakaway.
It's like one play. You don't get to do one play in hockey. I can't get on, do one play and get off the ice. I have to stay for a shift.
Yeah, you got to just cause a penalty. You know what to do. Come on. Go off sides. Just go the opposite way of
you
everybody.
get a jalopy and you try to push the engine too much. That shift would be like, poof, there goes the hammy. Poof, there goes the groin. Poof, there goes the abs.
Like you're saying, one at bat, right?
And then he'd get the scoring opportunity and he wouldn't even be able to raise his shoulder. It would be awesome. And you just doofed it.
You know, Todd said one at bat. He doesn't want, 3 at bats. He doesn't want a game. He wants one at bat. That's
but
it.
he knows in hockey you can't have one play. You got to have a shift.
You can. You play hurt.
Okay, so what you want me to do is get the play as a scoring opportunity right off the face-off and then run somebody to take a penalty. And then I'm done.
And then you're done. Slash in, whatever they call, you're done.
No, I want to run somebody. Maybe a cross check. What do you think?
Okay, but he's gonna run. He's gonna run a big guy.
Yeah,
he's gonna go like this. This is how it's gonna work. That's how the run is gonna work.
Can I tell you something? When Darryl and I first met each other years ago, I once bumped into him, and we bumped into each other pretty hard. He didn't move an inch. I fell off of him like 10 feet.
Here's my trick that I do. Because we do the sports figures, right? So I've been around football, baseball, basketball, hockey. So when I'm around the football players, I do this thing. I go, hey, how you doing? And then I touch them. I start squeezing, right? And I go like this. And it is unbelievable how much there's no give. You guys are just mahogany. You're just mahogany. And I go, shoot. And that guy's touching that guy, and they're going ahead. It is just Volkswagen to Volkswagen.
Would you ever take one play as you're a baseball guy, so you could throw.
I played quarterback high school.
Right. So would you ever take one play in the NFL, one snap as a quarterback?
It's kind of dangerous.
It's the reason why I didn't play.
Right.
Because I was small, and I did this play too many times where I vowed I would never get sacked. So as soon as I saw it, I knew where all my receivers were, and I just go, even if I just hit one in the back of the letters, you don't get grounded. But here's what happens. You go like this, you expose the ribs.
Yeah. Right, and you still get hit.
It's a 15-yard penalty, and they'll still take it. They'll bury the head. They'll spear it. They called it spearing back then.
Right.
Because if they can put out the first-string quarterback, they'll take the 15 yards, and the guy gets high-fived. So it was like...
Mike's not worried about any of that. He's taking his shift. Whatever hospital visit comes with it, it's okay with him.
I've actually thought about it, though. I think I would get destroyed. I would be destroyed.
But you're okay with it because you still want the shift.
Well, I want the shift. At Madison Square Garden.
Jill, are you listening right now? Get your husband.
I literally grew up going to the Garden. It's like Yankee Stadium. It's a special place. You know, it'd be like at Maple Leafs Gardens or something.
I totally agree with that.
I understand. Nothing like hockey
at the Garden. You step. I'd be happy just stepping out for warm-ups and skating around, and stepping out of the middle between the two benches and. Oh my God! All right, so let's talk about some other stuff. I mean, that you enjoy sports, but that's fun. But
we love it.
Yeah, and that's one part I see. I see you got your action figures.
We got Tom Brady, who I believe is the greatest of all time.
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Kevin over there, he's our producer. I don't know where he is. He thinks Aaron Rodgers is the greatest of all time.
No. Here's why to me. Brady, I haven't heard your reason. Here's why this guy, even before that game, he's good. Because go look at your fantasy draft for the last 10 years. Who's sitting there going, I'm getting the Patriots receivers, right? It's a bunch of no-names for a decade, and he doesn't care.
Or has-beens.
Right. Or reclamation prog. I sit there and go, you and I would get 65 catches each if we were on that team. Because he would just go, I know you guys are both cripples and you turn. I'll just get it there. He's made the most out of nothing, out of any quarterback. Right?
By the way, nobody could get Randy Moss to play, and he did. Right. Randy Moss was I play when I want to, I catch when I want to, I run the route when I want to, and yet it worked out well with Brady.
Right, but he had plenty of seasons where Deion Branch type guys were his go-to guys.
Right.
And he still got the
I think the best receiver he's ever had is a tight end named Gronkowski, who's injured all the time.
Right. So just that, right? Yeah. Montana had his rights.
Yep.
Right. Everybody had their guy. Right?
Yeah, sure. His guy's Peyton, and Peyton had Harrison
and Reggie Wayne.
Right.
And then Demarius and Decker and.
Do you see Peyton and Brady as 1 and 2?
I'm obviously biased.
Yeah.
I'm obviously biased. So let's get that out the way. So I'm certainly biased for Peyton.
Yeah.
But I can argue now, and I can't argue with people that say Brady is right now the greatest of all times. I mean, you can't argue with
But
that.
here's where Kevin then takes the argument. He goes, most talented. And I would argue Peyton Manning's the most talented of all time because he was also a coach on the field and he had his brain. Yeah, he might not have had the legs, but he had the arm, he had the brain, he had the coaching ability. I don't know. I would say talent if you strip away the rest.
When you talk about talent, to me, now you're taking into account the athleticism and I think in the speed and things like that. So as far as talent, you got to look at like a Michael Vick in his prime because he had the speed, he had the arm, he had. As far as talent, pure talent, maybe he didn't have the size as a Culpepper.
Oh, it's even more talent than if you don't have the size because he got it done with that
But
size.
he was super talented.
So this is part of a new series, and you're doing it with EA Sports. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we're doing not only with EA, which is a video, the Madden game, which is a video game.
Do you know that Madden said he had the hardest hit ever in the NFL? Seriously, Madden called his hit the hardest ever.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this?
What?
He has all the logos, which is hard to get. You usually can't get all the licensing. Not just the NFL, not just EA Sports. He's even got the NFLPA.
Yeah.
Like he's got everything over
So,
You know how much that cost me? It doesn't come free, Charlie.
Oh, I know.
Right, that's triple. That's a triple royalty on that product, right? So
Exactly.
This is why Hasbro wants to sell more Monopoly with zero royalties, right?
And you got to pay every year on all of those.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the deal. This guy slips a double team with Chris Henry. Against the Titans, and takes a 30-yard run on a kickoff return at Chris Henry. Chris catches the ball, doesn't call for a fair catch, and never saw him coming. Looks up, takes one step, and gets destroyed.
I've been there. That's why I play baseball. Because dudes like you and then you get up and you got a smile on your face and you high five your.
Oh my God! The smile, and you should have seen Dallas Clark and Peyton Manning are on the sideline going like that.
Speaking of baseball, I heard about the baseballs you have, and I have so much respect for hitters because I could never hit a baseball. I could field with the best of them. I was great at fielding. I was athletic. But I could never hit. For some reason, that hand-eye coordination just wasn't there. So I have so much respect for baseball hitters, and you have three of the greatest hitters of all time.
They had Larry Fitzgerald, you know.
Yeah, I know Fitz.
They're great.
Yeah.
And they brought him to the Diamondbacks. I live in Phoenix.
Right.
And they let him hit. He looked childish. He looked childish.
True story. You can ask Adam. I'm friendly with Santana Moss, and he invites me out to his celebrity softball game. So it's all the Miami U guys. It's Edgerrin James, Santana Moss, it's Sonoris Moss, his brother. It's Reggie Wayne, Clinton Portis, and this is in their prime. All these guys, and they say, hey, why don't you do a participatory story? Play softball with us, and so. I take third base, and I don't get to take batting practice because, all the guys had taken, they can't hit. And I kid you not, you can ask Adam, he was there. I was the best hitter of all of them, which I'm not putting myself up on a pedestal. These guys could not swing a bat. No. Yeah.
Some guys have it, some guys don't. It's like golf, right?
Okay, the action of hitting is an unnatural movement. You would never do that movement during the day. Right? Throwing, we all do that, hitting, elbow, so there's certain moves you do in other sports, but sitting there and jerking your hips as hard as you can and it's an unnatural, so it's distinct to that sort of move that you want to do. So it's a learned move. And if you haven't learned it, it's like a golfer, if you haven't learned it, then it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
I tried to learn it, Todd. I played T-ball and everything. It didn't agree with me. I mean, I would hit the tee. In T-ball, I would hit the tee.
I'm a coach. You give me 2 months of your time, I'll turn you into a mediocre player.
Is that what somebody said to Jordan when he went to play baseball?
Right in the middle of his run.
Or Tebow right now, right?
So Phil has 6. He would have had 7 easily.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Because he took the year off.
Yeah.
Plus, he didn't come back in the next year until 2/3 of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would have had.
He was still getting his
they might have had 8
on him. Oh, it would have been. It would have been better than what the Celtics.
This guy's hung out with Jordan.
One time I was blessed to hang out with Jordan.
That makes you kind of brothers at that point. Right?
Speaking of Jordan, you know how you were saying, they never say Jordan's the minority owner of the Bobcats, even though he is a minority owner. They say he's the owner, so you're really owner of Edmonton Oilers.
So let's go back.
And the Bobcats are way worse than the Oilers.
So I've sold my share, but now we get to the point where somebody's going to buy us all out, right?
Okay.
And so all the owners are going, I'm not going to sell. A bunch of them saying, I'm not going to sell Todd. Screw this guy, whatever. All of a sudden, he puts a deadline on. He keeps raising the price, and it comes. And I'm walking out the door. The deadline was Monday at 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I'm walking out the door, and somebody in my office goes, Todd, and he hands me a fax from NFL.com, and it says, everybody gives their shares except one. Well, I knew who that was, right? Like, what? There was like 10 guys said they weren't going to fall, and they're like, oh, he bought them out and whatever else. Now all of a sudden I'm going, wow. So now there's only 2 of us, right?
Right.
Instead of like, I think there was 36. I go, wow, it's 2 of us. Now all of a sudden the nacho bar is going to be way open for me the next time I go up to Edmonton.
Right.
Because I used to have to muscle 36 guys to get to the nacho bar.
Right.
But now there's only going to be 2 of us. And I could always say, I'm co-owner, and hope nobody ever asks how much. How much co, right? And I would be a barnacle in this guy's ass for a long time, but it didn't work out that way. We needed a few bucks for the company, the toy company. It was getting a little soft, and I had bought in with US dollars, with Canadian, and it was to my favor, and this guy was buying us in reverse, and it was to my favor, and I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Perfect storm.
And my wife goes, come on, Todd. And I'm like, more nachos, but okay, I have to give it up. But here's the highlight that I got out of it. We retired Wayne Gretzky.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm walking around the Coliseum that day, by myself, got to go there, and I go behind this curtain, just like some of these things here, and there's the banner that they're going to lift to the rafters. And I go, what, they just got the banner just hanging here? I had a Sharpie with me. I pull up the Sharpie. I put my initials. Not very big, but they're there. And then that night, they put it up, and I'm like, I'm up in the rafters with the
regardless.
Gretz. Me and
regardless.
the Gretz. Because Gretzky was born in 61. I was born in 61. We were only a couple months apart. To me, he was always like an invisible brother.
Okay, so is Wayne Gretzky the greatest hockey player?
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, I mean, some people say...
Who would say what? Who?
No.
Mario?
No, I don't think Mario's up there.
The answer's yes. The answer's
Gordy, right? Gordy's up there.
The answer's yes. Let's go to the next topic.
All right.
Yes. This is not even a discussion. The answer's yes. Let's move.
All right. So we've got the EA line with, and how many different players are there?
I think the first line we had 7 or 8.
Okay.
Then we had variation sometimes on the uniform. But one of the things with any of the video games, whether it's sports, we're doing a bunch of non-sports video games with like Mass Effect and Destiny and Borderlands. I'm trying to think what else we have shown. But if you can tie it with the game and make it so it seems like, again, that the whole is better than the part, then I think that you got a better chance, right? Because otherwise, somebody goes, I like the game, doesn't mean I have to buy into ancillary.
Sure.
But if you can say, well, there's a component, whether it's a code that's in there, or whether there's some piece that basically ties you in that gives you a uniform, maybe the throwback uniform, doesn't even have to be anything overly sexy or change the game, then you're giving some added value to them, which is what happened, with this one right here. So we were able to convince EA to just give us some crumbs, right? You can't just sell stuff out now as video game makers and just go, here, we'll leave you to your own devices. You're going to have to consider us partners and try and make sure that we can sort of get something so that it just feels like your brand as a whole is working.
It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. And then you've got 5 Nights at Freddy's. That was huge. That was...
Look at. I've now been doing this for 24 years.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the bizarre thing. I've been doing TV, movie, music, sports, all of it. Big brands. This brand right here, the biggest brand in 24 years, sales-wise, for my company.
Wow.
It was the first time ever I couldn't make it fast enough, and I had to give orders back. I've never had to give orders back. As small guys like me, we need orders.
Right.
We couldn't make it. And here's the thing that's super intriguing and a little frustrating to me, is that you like, when you have success, to want to know the whys of it, so that you can try and replicate it.
Right.
Just like your strategy book. Duplicate. I don't know. And
what made this go?
Right.
What made this particular one?
And here's the thing. I think we are living in a world, and this is now a frustrating but also an encouraging thing. We're living in a world now where there are things that are now popular as we sit here today that we don't know because we're too old to know.
It's
and
true.
it's sitting in a spot, and by the time your kid walks down to dinner and says, "Oh, I kind of like that," it's probably been 2 years, and it's on the backside of a bell curve, right? Because now, every now and then, my son will say something, and I'll go, "What did you just say?" And I'll go look, and there are these pockets of giant amounts of people on YouTube and the internet, and they are getting it. We're the dinosaurs thinking it's on movies and TV and print ads.
Way ahead.
It's hidden at a level. This is there. Now, here's where the upside of that is. If that's true, if even half what I just said is true, that means even Hasbro and Mattel, with all their intel, they're still adults. And this ninja thing, they're not going to be aware. So that means, can I basically be looking for brands at the same rate as they, and do I have a chance to grab something before they can cash whip somebody? Because they can just dump the Brinks truck up to the door. So I go, wow, so maybe there are more Five Nights at Freddy's out there. We have 3 more in the construction out there coming out this year. South Park, Steven Universe, and Rick and Morty.
South Park, how did nobody grab that?
Yeah, so they're all there, and it's a wide range, but both Steven Universe has the potential to be one of those undercover ones that's bubbling, and Rick and Morty, again, is the if you look at the internet matrix of it, you're seeing more and more because they've got a new season coming out. But will it launch big? And I was able to get it before the curve because I can't wait for it to be in the curve.
Yeah, because they want too much.
Hasbro and Mattel beat me to it, right? I can't compete with that. I have to get it before. But I go, wow, if this is a leveling of the playing field, that now it's underneath us.
You know what? That leads me to my question. I had a question in mind for you. Is there a brand or was there a company that maybe you could have got early that you passed up on?
Newman. That went on big.
And end up being bigger than you thought it was going to be, or blowing up, and you was like, oh, I had that at the early stages. I could have had that.
I'm trying to think.
Or something one of your kids said, and you were like, that's going to be small, and it ended up being huge.
It's actually the opposite. It's the ones I thought were going to be huge that I actually did get that didn't actually turn out, right? I've often said to him, I go, the name's Todd only rhymes with God, right? But if I could just for one day be the God guy, right? Every master toy license would have this clause that goes, you give me $20 million, Hasbro, Mattel, whoever you are, and you get everything, comma, and Todd McFarlane and his company gets to do one figure. So if I could have done one Spider-Man, and one Darth Vader, and one Batman. I go, just want one, just give me one. It would have been cool, but we'll never know.
What is the one you wanted so badly? That, like, would Darth Vader be the one that you wanted so badly and can't do? What's the one?
If you were to give me, if you said, Todd, you're going to do one, I'd take Spider-Man, and here's why. Because I drew him. I made my career on Spider-Man. I think that the guy who would do the best McFarlane Spider-Man figure would be McFarlane himself, right? So I go, I've seen them try it, but I go, dude, no.
It's more personal.
I know why I was doing everything.
Right.
You know, there was a rationale why I was doing everything. I would be able to put it into the figure.
Somebody asked me a couple weeks ago why you've been so successful in the toy figure area, and I know we've talked before about how, like, you did the Walking Dead toys where you put them together almost like Legos, and you made it realistic, and you did the Game of Thrones one, and you made it realistic. So that makes a lot of sense, right? Because
it didn't do that well, though. You know, I think I may have jumped the gun. I think I should have stuck with this for 2 or 3 years, had everybody know I was in that aisle, and then said, oh, and now I'm going to go from cute and fun into hyper-realistic, and I wouldn't have had to try to educate them what it was. But I think part of the failure was people didn't know what it was, right? I was doing it.
Well, I thought it was cool, but the question is, I guess, how, you know, there are a lot of figures out there. How come yours are so successful? And I think, if I'm right, you said once to me that it's because most of them were a certain size, and you said, well, why not make them a little bigger?
Yeah, it was. Look at. I will be the first to admit I've done nothing unique in my life. Nothing unique. What I've done, what most people do that are successful, is they take what already exists and they just make it a little bit better or sexier,
Right.
right? So again, Steve Jobs, he deserves a lot of credit, but there was still a phone, and it still dialed, and it still texted, and it still took photos.
Yeah, even took photos, yeah.
But he went, watch this. You don't have to hit a button like this. You hit the glass like this. It's still a touch,
Right.
Right? But everybody went, oh, no buttons. Oh my gosh! And everybody's heart. And so he just figured out, if I just give him the sexy, and you go like that, and you can expand it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you could still expand it prior to that, you just have to hit a button.
Right.
But he just goes, no, and he gave him the sexy. And so all I've done is looked at everything and went, can I do better paper? When we started the comic company, can I do better paper? Can we do better coloring? Can we do just a little bit more dynamic in terms of some of the posing? For the toys, can we add better paint? Can we add better articulation, better sculpting? Just, it was always there, just can you do it better?
Sure.
And that was it.
Better
And then,
details.
And then what
Yeah.
happens is you get false credit, because they think you innovated something. And I didn't innovate, because I was like, I think millions of other people going, why don't they just do it better, right?
Right,
I don't understand it.
So you've got Spawn here, but the question I have for Spawn is the movie.
Yeah.
Where are we with that? And is there Spawn TV show coming out?
The, BBC America just announced on Thursday,
Yeah.
Sam and Twitch. These are two characters, two detectives that were introduced in Spawn #1. They've been there since the beginning, for 25 years. We're on our 25th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Of Image Comics, right?
Wow.
The one where they wrote our obituary in year 1. So we're doing okay. So that one, they hired Kevin Smith.
Yep.
He's going to write, produce, direct it. If he can get them a script fairly quickly, they'll be at a spot where, and do some rewrites, that they go, well, it's time to either do something or not, right? And they're going to have to make progress within the next month or two. Go, do we want to shoot a pilot? Do we want to pick up the series, or do we just want to walk away? Those are going to be the only three choices. If they say yes to any of the first two, we should be able to show stuff by San Diego Con.
Excellent.
Right?
Oh,
So
nice.
again, we'll see. It's all on them how excited they get.
Right.
We have another TV project that was written by the guy who did John Wick, right? And then he just came out with John Wick 2, and it
Right.
opened up big. So we're going to hear the answers of that one for another comic book character that I've got. And then the movie, I've got some big news on that one, but I haven't come out with it yet, so I can't.
This
break
is the
it.
perfect time.
I
was it? So let's-
I can't break it. So I
It's
will
like
hold it.
getting Nancy in his chair there.
Yeah. So I'm hoping San Diego Con. There's a lot.
But
of
last time you were here,
Hollywood-
you said the script was done.
Yeah.
I mean, so we should be close to. You're going to direct, right?
That's non-negotiable.
Right. So
Non-negotiable.
and so we should be getting ready to start shooting in like August.
Who knows? Who knows?
So close to
Yeah.
getting an answer there. He twitched a little. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you blink 3.
Yeah, that's it. Anyways, we got some good momentum with the toys.
Yeah.
We're on our 25th anniversary of comic book, and Hollywood's starting to percolate. So I feel young.
Right.
I feel young again.
Rejuvenated.
Yeah, we're back. Let's go. I think 2017 is going to be a good year.
Yeah, I saw the booth. It's unbelievable. We're going to do a 360 in the booth after this so that our fans can see everything you got
Yeah,
and
why talk
coming
about
up.
it? Let's show it. This is worth a million words, right? We've already talked.
What's
too much.
that? Yeah, what's that up there, Mike? Up top.
This is, I don't know. This
Oh,
is
just
another.
8-bit, some 8-bit stuff from Five Nights, right? It's
Okay.
just the brand.
So
just
that's
going-
popular now, is doing a lot of 8-bit stuff. I think not only retro gaming and maybe the NES Classic is helping to bring that back, but also Minecraft, right?
Yeah. But it was interesting because both, like I said, going back earlier to the popularity of Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft bubbled to the surface that us adults had heard it, and even Angry Birds, right?
Right.
It's this stuff that is just percolating down here. My son shows me YouTubers with 20 million subscribers, right? What are you talking about? It's bigger than almost every TV show on ABC,
Yeah.
right? So you go, they are just getting the world different than
Right.
us, right?
Right.
I mean, I am a dinosaur because I know don't know if we have time, but I'm going to give you what's going to happen to me once I get older. The grandkids are going to come and they're going to go, Dad, tell them this joke that you told me. It's not a joke, it's real. But tell them that joke that you go, Tommy, I used to get news. That's okay. Grandpa, we get news too, so you got today's news. No, we used to get yesterday's news.
Right,
And they're going, why
right.
would you get yesterday's news when you can get it today? Why don't you go on the computer? Because we didn't have a computer. They put it on paper. They put yesterday's news on paper. Well, how did you get it? Oh, they brought it to the house. Oh, so they just knock on the door and give it to you. No, they throw it on the driveway. Well, what if it was raining? oh no, we have to go get it. So now the kid is sitting there looking at us like a dinosaur going, so I just want to be clear. You got yesterday's news on paper that could bleed in the rain. You had to go get it and get wet. Thank God you didn't have to pay for that, right? And you don't really want to go one more step with the kid because it's going to completely destroy the whole, right? But that's the same kid that's going to say, we move the cars with solar now. Didn't you have a sun when you were, like, didn't the sun shine, Grandpa, when you were young? Because it actually moves your car for free. It doesn't cost $30,000 in your lifetime to move the wheels of a car, but you old folks pay for 2-day-old news and pay for your gas because you guys are dinosaurs. So we are here, sadly.
Right.
That's it.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking at CES, everybody was talking about the car, you know, the robotic cars and everything, and it hit me. Well, I said to one of the guys who was designing one, I said, why'd you design it like a car? He said, what? I said, well, that looks like a car, and if it drives itself, why don't you make it like an Airstream? I could get into an office or a living room. He was like, excuse me? I was like, well, if it's a car that drives itself and I don't need to be behind the wheel, why'd you put 4 seats in the car?
Yeah.
And he went, and I went, yeah. I mean, and I think in the future so they were telling me that everything will be an Uber. You won't own a car. You'll just be like, I need a car. I need a, you know, whatever. I said, so why not make it?
The little pod comes.
Right, the little pod comes and takes you
Kids
away.
don't care any more than remember they didn't care about having albums and having CDs of the movies. They just go, we just have a digital. Don't worry, like
It just happens.
Hey, Mom, Dad, stop hurting yourself, right? Just we got this down, right? Just stop. I know you had your way of doing stuff, right? I get to blink and now my Pop-Tarts are warm. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're good.
Give me that old stuff and let me show you how we do it now.
So how will that change the collector's market? Because so it's affected CDs and before that records.
Yeah.
It's affected just about everything.
Yeah.
You have sports memorabilia.
Yeah.
That's still hard goods. This is hard goods.
People have tried, Tops, who does cards,
Right.
Sports cards. They've tried and have had some success with digital collecting.
Yeah.
I still think there are still some things that I think the reason this works and will continue to work is because we still have to be living in our cubicles.
Right.
And our cubicles are our personality. And we need stuff there. And you can't, unless everything's a hologram,
Sure.
you got to put the stuff up to show people who you are, what you stand for, what you like. And so we're going to need the stuff. Or when you come into my room, you can see what's on my walls or on my shelves. And so that component I don't think can be completely digitized. So I think cheap plastic goods are here to stay. I'm hoping because that's a business I'm in.
Well, you could modify to holograms or something where I could have Spawn today and Walking Dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
Talk about these are the color tops, so they're limited edition.
I know some people in the hologram business. I'll get you in touch with them.
Yeah, you do it.
So you're ready for the transition.
The color top essentially is just doing what we did 20 years ago with Movie Maniacs.
Right.
There are hundreds of brands that exist that as standalones will never get any space. Never. Right? I can walk into Walmart and Target and Toys R Us, they'll never take it. But if I just cherry pick the A characters of these hundreds of brands and put them together and have then 6 A figures from 6 brands, I can sell that. And they will give me space for that. So it's just a matter of convincing all these people that have these brands to take a little bit instead of 0, even though I know you would like to have an entire program based on it. It's just not viable, right? And they're starting to wake up to it, that something is better than nothing.
Right.
And so that's what the whole Color Talk brand is, both with video games and TV shows and movies and whatever else. It's just it's a conglomeration of the A character and the B character. And then, like, for instance, you'll see later, we have like Jareth from Labyrinth, which is David Bowie, right? He looks like a toy. I mean, it's a cool figure. Will I do more than that figure in Labyrinth? I don't know. My guess is either it'll sell okay, but if it sells really good, they're going to ask for 2 things: either the second best character, or give me another Jareth in another pose with another uniform.
Right.
I don't need somebody else. I want more Jareth. Right? Batman. Yeah. I'll take 10 different Batmans before I worry about getting the Penguin. Right. So look, just give me more Batman.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Very, very cool.
Well,
and
if not, I said it.
I like Glenn. This is big. 10 inches is big, and I think that's what I was kind of alluding to before. Is you always seem to make the figures a little bit bigger than everybody else.
Well, here's what I found is that everybody has a limited amount of discretionary income in their pockets, right? So let's be fair to everybody. So can you take a brand and give different scales at different price points, and then just let the consumer decide what they want, right? So you could say I'm just stealing from the food industry, right? Because I can go into, CVS, and there's like 8 different sizes of Hershey bars.
Right.
Still Hershey chocolate, right? Do you want the Kiss? Do you want the little one? Do you want the double pack? Do you want the double thick? Or do you want the big Valentine's?
Right.
Like, it's still the same chocolate.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, same brand, same characters, different poses, but you want a $3, $6, $8, $10, $12. That's what we're doing here, right? We're going to have everything from what we call a micro build, which is $6 all the way up to $30. I'll let you be the good judge of what you can afford or what you want. Put it in there. But if you like the brand, I'm not forcing you to buy at one price point. Right. I'll let you decide.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In the Slack chat, they want to know if they can see a Jason Wynn figure. I imagine you have one at the booth, so they'll be able to see it, right?
No, I don't. But what we will show you is the newest Spawn figure, because Jason Wynn, then to me, is like Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
You know what? I'll show you a cooler. This is a cool Spawn. I'll show you the cooler one we've got.
Awesome.
Right,
in 360.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. So you got to check that out. Yeah. That'll be up in a week or two. And they're loving this. I do have a question to go back to the beginning. Where do you rate Igor Larionov, and what was Gretzky without Yari Curry? I would say Gretzky without Yari Curry is Gretzky with Luke Robitaille, still Wayne Gretzky.
I think Wayne Gretzky, we got to go back to this non-discussion about Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky could have had a chair, and that would have scored 30 goals on his line. Not 50.
Know what? We had it offset. We had that discussion.
He would have hit it off one of the legs and ricocheted in. So it is not an accident.
Yeah.
It is not an accident that everybody that was on his line at any time succeeded.
I mean, Marty McSorley is probably the highest scoring. You could probably look this up. He's probably the highest scoring goon of all time, because he played with Gretzky.
Here's what happens when you're advanced, and this is Michael Jordan. Sometimes they can't keep up with you.
Right.
So at the end of Gretzky's time in LA, all the stars on the team had gone. All the people that had helped him to the Stanley Cup with the Kings were gone. He had a bunch of young kids. And I know the conversation went something like this. Young kid, I know you're nervous. You're playing with the Gretzky. We're good. Just be where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
The puck will be there.
Right.
Just don't. And he would go like this and go, and he'd put it right where we're supposed to be.
Yep.
And the kid wasn't there because he was watching. and he was just going. And I could see the frustration by the time he left, because he went to St. Louis for a bit. You could see the frustration that he just wants. Guys, stop wondering how it's done.
Right.
Just be there.
Get there.
Do your job.
And you're going to get some goals.
That's what you used to say about football all the time, is stay in your lane. Don't worry about, that guy's not doing his thing, or that guy's not doing his thing, or I got to run around and get the A gap. No, you're here. Fill that gap.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Defense. I mean, that's how it was. It was like everybody just needs to play their role. Don't try to do too much. We have our star players that can do more. And like you're saying, Gretzky was the star player that could do more.
Oh, I think that Gretzky and Jordan and guys like that don't make good coaches because they see it differently than everybody, and they don't understand why you don't.
Coached in the early 70s, late 60s, coached the Washington Senators.
Yeah.
I killed them. I know, gave him a bleeding ulcer and maybe some diarrhea from time to time, because he was just going see ball, hit ball. It was that easy for him.
Why can't you hit the ball?
See ball, hit ball.
Right.
So what's natural, but we've all had teachers like that,
right?
Where they explain it and it seems effortless to them because they've been doing it for 20 years. We haven't, right? So,
exactly.
But there's an innate ability, and so look at. Again, I don't give myself too much credit, but I go, okay, maybe I just see the world slightly different. There is something, because the basketball is the same for every single human being, and the height of the basket's the same. Why did it work different for Jordan? There's something internal in us that at times you go, okay, skill works. How do I know? It's just a tool. I have a pencil in my hand and a paper. I hand the pencil and the paper, the tools, to Daryl. We say draw a horse. Somehow the paper and the pencil doesn't work quite as well for him.
At all.
Now he hands it over to me. It does something different. Same tools. So there's something in the athlete, the artist, the skilled people that do something. We don't know where it comes from. Luckily, they gave some to us, right? Yeah. So we have a life that is afforded us a good comfort zone.
And if you can find what your expertise or your God-given gift is, then you can take advantage of it. And, obviously you found yours. And
Well, and here's what I said. Where's your fans? Don't be shy about it. I was a shy kid, but I would follow the editors at conventions into the bathroom. Why? Because the portfolio line was too long. So I would just wait, and I go, at some point they got to take a piss. So I go, okay, and then they'd go in, and I'd follow them, and I'd pretend I was taking a leak. And then when they were done, I'd be going, and just as they were washing their hand, I'd bump into them and go, hey, Mr. Whoever it was, is there any chance I can get you to look at my stuff? And they would look at it, right? And I just go, I drove 800 miles to be there. Now is not the time to be shy.
Right,
and
right.
I also have another rule for you. Assume they're going to say no.
Right.
Of course.
Go into every interview, every meeting, lower. You know how Mom says, raise the bar, lower the bar.
Yeah.
Because lower the bar and assume it's going to be no. I'm never getting this. I'm never. You will be. Every time they say no, instead of being disappointed,
right.
you go, yeah, nailed it. Nailed it. And then one day they're going to break your streak because
Right.
you're going to walk away and they're going to go, whoa. Why are you walking away? And you go, because you're not going to hire me. You go, no, we're going to hire you. Your first thought should be, oh, they ruined my 100% batting average. But I got a job. So it's like, so you will never lose. I have seen too many people, especially young people, that go into interviews and they think they're going to get it. And they just get soul crushed. So lower the bar, because the lower the bar, the easier it is to get over.
Right.
Just
right.
set yourself up for the victory.
Your story about following guys into the men's room is very similar to Jeffrey Gorian's story. He was on earlier. He's a legendary comedian and periodontist who became a comedian. And he said he wanted to be a comic and a writer, and he drove up to Saturday Night Live to 30 Rock back in like the 70s when you could pull up to 30 Rock. Yeah. He had this Cadillac Eldorado, bright orange. Tosses the keys to the doorman and says, watch this, I have a meeting with Lorne Michaels, sneaks past security. He had no meeting, He takes some tape and, it opens doors, which is what you got to do. You got to find a way in. And I think your point about don't get to the doorstep, don't get to the 1 yard line and go, this will never work, I'll see you later. Get to that doorstep, follow the guy in the men's room and make history.
I think I've told you maybe in the past, I sent off over 700 submissions and got over 300 rejections. Wow. And I kept those letters, right? Every now and then on Facebook, I'll spread them out and go, every one of these said no, right? And it kept me going. I used to take some of those to conventions because I get somebody like you come and go, I want to break in a comic. And I sent some samples and they said no, and I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore. And I used to reach down to the bag, it was a shopping bag, and I used to dump it, this pile, and go, every one of those said, Todd, stop. Right. So you have a choice right now. You can either accept the no, or you can just plow through it. Football, I use football as an analogy when I'm talking to the business people. I go, look at, if you want to play in the NFL out of college, right? You got 30 plus teams. How many need to draft you? How many need to like you? One.
Just
one.
one.
And if the other 29 don't like you, who cares?
Doesn't matter.
You're in the NFL. So I was, at one point, I would send it to every editor at every company. Marvel had about 12. So when I finally got my first job, right, I'm sitting there working on my first job. I had sent off some samples. Somebody finally said yes. They gave me a job. I'm working on it. And then I'm getting the return mail from the other 11. You'll never work at Marvel. This is no good for Marvel. You'll never be at Marvel. I'm working for Marvel. I was working for Marvel because I had one of the 12 editors said yes. Right. What did I care about the rest of them? Now I'm in the game, and now it's on us. Now once they put you in the game,
you got to do.
You know what? You're sitting next to a perfect example. Undrafted free agent in the NFL. Right. Not one of those teams wanted him at the draft, and the rest is history. And he could tell you better than I could.
You get a chance, like you said. You're in the game. Somebody gives you a chance. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter why. That's your chance. You got to run with it. That's not the time to be shy.
And the thing is, a guy like you, there's a lot of different words to describe what you did. Some of it can be like tenacity and go get it and whatever else. Some of it can be delusional and because we go, at what point are they right? You know, because at some point they all say no. At some point you go, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't sing. You know, I mean, but there's a fine line between being tenacious and just being delusional. But you know what? Try.
Yeah.
What's the worst that happens is that it doesn't work, and you can go work for the man. You can go work for the man. Those jobs are always available.
It's the same fine line between genius and insanity, right?
Right.
I mean, everything's on a spectrum.
I skirt that one.
Jenny from Finland wants to know.
Finland?
Yes, he wants
they
to
got
say.
good hockey there.
He wants a Jason Wynn figure, and he wants to know. They do have good hockey. He loves hockey.
Yeah, sure.
He does. He sends me.
The Finnish are good.
He's not. Hey, didn't the U.S. beat Finland to win the gold in 1980?
So
everybody thinks it was Russia, but Russia was.
There is or is not a Jason Wynn figure?
There is. We did it once.
It seems like the people.
He's a dude. He's a dude in a suit like you. I don't know what the fascination is. I'm gonna have to get on the phone.
You are gonna have to just come out with a special edition Jason Wynn figure.
Right.
The people are asking for it, and I know you deliver for the people.
Jason Wynn, the guy.
It's not about you. Remember what you said? You don't know what drives this Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
It's not about you all the time.
My father-in-law used to have a saying. He said, "Why's a cow? Stop asking. It just is."
Yeah,
so it's like, so Jason, when
you're not fascinated with him. It reminds you of regular Todd, at home. Like, who is this guy? Why do they want him? For some reason.
We're at the Why is a Cow moment.
Well, if you do it, we'll do a big thing on it together, and we'll get it out to all the Terrifics.
2017 Jason Wynn figure.
The dude in a three-piece suit, because that's what we need. Right?
You know what? You can model him.
Is there any parents that are listening? I'm going to give you a couple of tips. If you go in the boys action aisle, it's called boys action aisle for a reason, because it's like boys. So here's why we don't sell a lot of female figures, right? Because you got an 8-year-old kid, and you got to put an 8-year-old brain on it. So if you say to your kid, "Oh, you got straight A's," mommy and daddy are going to go, and we're going to buy you a toy because you did so good. And you come home with the Scarlet Witch, right? Here's what your 8-year-old kid's going to do, right? First, he's going to blink a couple times, and then he's going to go, "Oh, Mom, Dad, did they not have any Transformers?" "Oh, yeah, lots of those." "What about the Hulk?" "Yeah." "Spidey?" "Yeah." "How about some Batman?" "Yeah." "Any Star Wars with the Darth Vader?" "Yeah, they had all that." And you saw all that, and you said, "What my boy needs is this girl figure," right? Like, bring the monster and the robots home to your 8-year-old boys when they get straight A's. Don't bring the Scarlet Witch, right? We'll leave those. The Scarlet Witch is made for the collectors.
Right.
Those are the old guys who will have to have everybody in the Avengers. Like this, come on, take it easy. I've seen that happen. They go, "I bet you he'll like this." I go, I think this robot would be way better.
And I finally get this. Thank you, Jenny. Speaking of hockey, by the way, I like that a lot. And you could also listen to Steve Jobs, who said, "Don't listen to the audience. They don't know what they want." And I don't mean the audience, the consumers. And it worked out well for Jobs and maybe for some other people. But I finally get this, and he wants to know if you remember Tiki Talk, which I didn't understand, and now he clarified it. Essa Tikkanen, who spoke some weird language, which everybody called Tiki Talk.
Tiki was good. Glenn Anderson was good. The most fun I had was Hockey Night in Canada. Don Cherry.
Yes.
Don Cherry would come on with his collar, looked a little bit like you a little bit. He was awesome, right? Yeah. We made some toys of him too, right?
Really?
And his little dog Blue.
That's pretty cool.
So we eventually got to get to all these guys. Right? I mean, if there's an easy way to meet them. Look, my hero when I was a kid playing baseball was Steve Carlton.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm 11 years old, Steve Carlton's playing for a last place team, and he wins 27 games for a last place team. Still a record for the biggest percentage of one person for the amount of wins on a team. Almost half. They won 56 games. He won 27. He's my idol. Why? I'm a lefty. So I practice his wind-up to this day. I still have the Carlton wind-up. He was wearing back then, 72, I'm dating myself, they didn't have soft contacts, they had hard contacts. So he wore hard contact, so he was always blinking, right? So he'd always go like this, right?
So you'd be practicing the blink.
I did the blink. But every time I was pitching, the umpire would go, "Time." And he'd come on and go, "You okay? You got any needs?" I'm like, "No, I'm just being Steve Carlton," right? But anyways, fast forward now, and I get to meet Steve Carlton. Why? Because we're making a toy of him, right? And I'm going, wow. So it's going. I get his autograph. He signed his own contract. Steve Carlton's autograph, right? So I don't care how you get there.
Right.
There's always a back door to everything. You know how many autographs I got from people that I admire who said, "Todd, you'll never work in the comic industry. Your stuff is no good." And then they signed it, and I went, "Wow! If you just put your hand over this, I got his autograph. This is cool, right?" So, can I skate? No, but we came one game away against the Hurricanes, Game 7, the Stanley Cup, where my brother phoned me. We're heading to Game 7, and he's going, "Hey, if you guys win, you get a Stanley Cup ring."
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about it, and I go, "Well, the owners are the ones that basically dole out the rings."
Yeah.
So you're saying I don't skate? I don't know and I can have a ring. I could, like you, we could walk. Right? I'd make sure I scratched my face more than I ever did for a long time. Like, oh my God. But we lost. It's the only regret. It's the only regret of the ownership.
Too bad.
I just go, I could have had a, because look, I've got a Grammy Award. I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you. I got a Grammy Award, and I can't read a lick of music. A lick of music, and it drives my wife, who's a great pianist, crazy. How do you, who don't even know nothing about music, have a Grammy? There's a back door. I directed a music video. They did all the music. I did the directing. I got the Grammy for directing. There's always
Still a Grammy.
You can win an Oscar. You know what you're going to Oscar for? Sound. You don't even have to act. You don't even have to direct. You can just make sound, and they give you. And that Oscar is the same one they give Brad Pitt. You put them next to you, it's the same one. So it just makes. If you're good at sound, you can win an Oscar.
You should have owned a baseball or football team. You would have got an AFC or NFC championship ring before the Super Bowl, and like the Bills have 4 of AFCs, and you would have gotten a National League or American League ring. But yeah, I agree with you. Stanley Cup ring.
Here's my dream again. You know, Todd only rhymes with God. I buy the Diamondbacks because I'm in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then I have these remote control. The walls are on wheels, right? And then I get batting practice every day. Why? Because I give you $20 million, you damn pitcher. Throw the ball, right? And so I hit the button, and the walls come in about 40 feet, right? And so now I'm playing like in the Philippines or something with a small ballpark. And I get there, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And I hit the button, it goes back. And it would be a good life. It would be a good life, wouldn't it?
It would be an amazing life.
But there's always a way. There's always a way.
Right.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for giving us all your time.
Yeah,
you're so generous with your time always, and you're a lot of fun and great stories, and you're a very inspirational guy. You're a very creative guy, and you're a positive guy, and that's what BeTerrific is about. Thank you so much for coming on. The Terrifics love you.
I like coming here every year, and you got the sexy here. Batman now has his Robin. This is good. This is like Toy Fair sort of symbolism.
Nobody wants Robin. They all want Batman.
No,
10 Batmans.
No, it's true. It's true. He's true. You're going to outsell him 10-1. So, right.
Listen, he's got the ring. I don't.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to do a 360 video with you, so everybody should check that out on BeTerrific.com and our YouTube page, youtube.com/BeTerrific, and buy everything McFarlane Toys puts out.
Be on the lookout for that new Jason Wynn figure coming out. I think it'll be out by summer. I mean, it can't take you long to put him in a 3-piece suit. Come on, that's easy for you.
We'll just say
it's
maybe.
too easy for you.
And the last name is Wynn, which is what we do.
And your people are terrific too. You have such wonderful people who work at McFarlane Toys.
Thank you very much.
All right, I got to thank them. I got to thank everybody at McFarlane Toys. We'll be back right after this with more live coverage of Toy Fair 2017. Stay with us.